Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us here tonight. We are going to be starting up some Symbaroum. This is going to be Act 2 of the adventure The Howling of Damned Gods. Got a full crew here tonight, and so, yeah, we're looking forward to jumping back in and getting back into this story. A couple of, I guess, housekeeping things right at the get go. We are still in the month of July, so that means we are still celebrating our 7 year anniversary of being a channel and community. So, the way we have chosen to celebrate that this year is we are doing a fundraiser for the Center for Suicide Awareness. And so, throughout the game, if you would like to make a donation, you can do so through our Tiltify page. All of the stuff that people have come to expect that they can get with their donation is up there and available. So there's player rerolls. I guess I left GM rerolls on there for this one. Just I don't really roll dice, but if you want to see me be a jerk, I will force other people to re-roll things. So there's that. Wandering encounters. Last time we had Casey had redeemed a an NPC that turned out to be kind of imperative to our story. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can not only donate to a great cause, but also have a little bit of fun right along with us. So check that out. We've had to raise the goal on that 3 times throughout this campaign, which is awesome. So a big thank you to everyone that has donated. And so we've raised it a 4th time. And so if we happen to raise $2,000 tonight, I'll do another giveaway, and we'll do a giveaway on the fly. So there's that too. So I think we'll just get going here with the game here tonight. Maybe I'll just do a little recap of what happened in the last session, then I'll have our players reintroduce their characters to us. But long and short of it is our group here had been traveling along with a caravan, kind of a ragtag group of people that had set out from the old country of Alberator to head through the Titans and head north to the promised land of Queen Corinthia's new nation of Ambria. That whole segment of the campaign, we ran the introductory adventure from the core rule book, so you can go check those things out on YouTube. But in our last session, the group had finally arrived at Prios Pass, which is basically the border checkpoint into the country. And so Prios Pass is kind of an old keep fortress up on this little island just off of the I guess the southern bank of the river Veloma. And basically there's a bridge that connects that keep to the mainland, and that's the funnel point of how people get into the country. They would get passage, get accepted to pass through the bridge onto the island, and then once they had their papers and affairs all straightened out with the administration there are ferries that take people the rest of the way across the river. This is a slow, arduous process to get cleared by the Queen's staff and administration, and so there is a pretty sizable refugee camp on the southern side of that river, and that is where our characters had been staying for a bit. Jomilo had gone with the leader of the caravan, Argosto, and had actually gone to Prios Pass, where they were. Anticipation was that process could take it minimum probably about a week, but you were all prepared for the possibility that it could take up to a month for affairs to get straightened out. And I think we had said that the rest of the group in the camp, that you had been there maybe like 4 or 5 days just waiting for some word from them. And, you're just kind of surviving in the camp, going through your daily routines. There were these soup kitchens that were set up throughout the camp that provided you with food, so you didn't have to hunt or anything like that. You were well fed. And it was just kind of like the drudgery of waiting is basically what life has been. You came to Telk was doing his thing, making friends, and he made friends with an individual named Cease, who it seemed like I think the group, the long story short, they learned that Telk had made some kind of deal with this guy and accepted some coin from him to help him smuggle some clippings from his vineyard. This guy had a vineyard in the old country, was trying to take some of that into Ambria, which is a good that the guards definitely wouldn't let through, just because they're not going to let any plant material, any living material really through, for fear that it would have been corrupted by the Dark Lord's magic. So anyway, the two of them were having a good time. They had bought an alcoholic beverage from the soup kitchen on the west side of the camp, where you all have been hunkered down, and there's a limit to how much of the alcohol a soup kitchen will sell to an individual. It's basically a limit of one. So they schemed to go to the other soup kitchen to try to get a second. And so they had gone to the eastern side of the camp. And I think you all had some interactions with some of the goblin waitstaff in one of the soup kitchens. You met, I think I had you have an interaction with a guy named Brother Huberto. He was a Prios missionary. I think you just had kind of idle chit chat with him. I don't think there was much that came of that, other than you know, talking about the good word. But through your evening, you came to discover that there were these huge blight abominations, very similar to the ones that you saw back when you were traveling through the Titans and you saw your Pathfinder turn. Very similar, and so the group had to deal with two such creatures on the the western side of the camp, and you employed some good use of your mystical talents to basically take kind of control over these creatures, and you even had one of them, or both of them, maybe both of them. I'm having a hard time remembering, but at least one of them went over the cliff because you mind controlled them off the side there. And so that was kind of where the session ended. You had helped out some of the rangers that watch over the security of the camp, and it looked like they were having a hard time. A number of them were felled as well. And so that is there anything major that anyone can think of that I'm forgetting? Otherwise, yeah, I think maybe we'll just jump right into, why don't you guys do some introductions of your characters again? I don't have like a prompt or anything, but just share whatever you think is necessary. Maybe kind of the headspace of your character in these early hours of morning, as you're looking over the camp and realizing that this is a really awful thing that had happened. That so many people had died to this kind of random act. But maybe we'll start. Let's start with Robyn first.
Okay. I can be heard, right? Because sometimes I'll start talking and
I think so, but
all right, all right. I'm playing Temper. She's an ogre. She's technically a berserker, but she classifies herself as a bodyguard, and she usually finds one friend that she commits herself wholeheartedly to, but they don't always stick around. Right now, she has Keller, who did stick around. He did not go running, even though, she left him there with that backpack. He could have run away, but he didn't. So that does show how much he cares. But her other main friend, Telk, is no longer among the living. So, we got to really hold on to those we love and make sure that they're okay. So she's going to be watching out for Keller now. So that the loss is hitting her pretty hard.
thank you. Let's go to Ryan next.
Yep, Brian Garthok playing Papa Gnosis, who is a changeling mystic. Everybody in this party kind of knows of his changeling ways, but he's been kind of traveling on his own for a long time. And being in kind of a big group like this big refugee camp and waiting for Jomilo to come back for so long and everything that went on, all these deaths. um, it's got him kind of on edge, and he's had to use his mystic powers a couple times, and so he's a little bit worried about getting exposed, and he's getting a little antsy. So he's probably like wandering around camp, kind of trying to hear what's going on. Maybe dipping into a tent, changing into somebody else, so he's going unnoticed and things like that, so that he can kind of try to hear what's going on over the last couple days, because he's just not liking this situation. It's not fun.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Let's go to Laura next.
All right, hi. Sorry. Hi, I'm Lauren. I am playing Elin, who is currently just a little bit in awe that the plan to convince the bad guys to jump over the cliff worked, because he had never really tried to convince people to do her bidding before. She had kind of kept things in the "I'll tell you your fortune, I'll read your auras," that kind of thing. And so, there's kind of a conflicting thing. On one hand, it's great, but on the other, she's kind of feeling that, power is a little unwieldy for her right now. So she's kind of getting a grip on that. And then trying to also, come to terms with, wow, a lot of people died. We don't know why these people turned. We don't know if that's going to happen again. Just kind of going through those kind of considerations too.
Awesome. Thank you. And let's go next to Mick.
Yeah, Mick, I'm playing Fetch. He's a treasure hunting ogre. He's looking to get to somewhere where he feels like he fits in, some community. He's starting to feel that with his group, I think. And seeing how these abominations that sort of cause so much carnage he didn't even have to hit one of them. The people he were with managed to drive one of them over the cliff and make the other one run until he was shot down, and he's feeling pretty secure with the group, like safe with the group, but still concerned that these things can just explode out of anybody, kind of thing. So, yeah, that's where he's at. I think a little bit safe feeling, but concerned about what could happen.
Yeah. And let's go last to Adrian.
Hey everybody, I'm Adrian, Sundance Kid 007, and I'm playing Jomilo, who is a Ambrian captain. He spent last session trying to get paperwork done to get the group through out of the refugee camp, because he's very antsy about getting to this promised land, and he is also antsy about spending too much time around the military, because maybe he did, maybe he didn't desert the army, the Queen's army, and now he's heard about some horrible things that happened, and so now he really wants to get back and see if everybody in his group is okay.
Yeah, and you're going to enter into the picture probably mere hours after the last abomination had been killed. So this first night after the abominations have been killed are, of course, just chaos. Like, all of the refugees have kind of scrambled from their tents. Many of them are kind of displaced all around in just kind of the general area. There is a lot of kind of amateurish medical assistance is trying to be delivered to some of the wounded. I'm sure some of you perhaps maybe even assist with some of that, but at the end of this day, you're going to be probably pretty weary, and I'm thinking at some point, just out of sheer exhaustion, you're gonna have to get at least like a couple hours of sleep, maybe back at your camp, and then try to deal with the aftermath after a little bit of shut eye, and that's kind of the general way that things are happening here. There is, I think, the group will have noticed that the central watchtower and the there's a small administration building there. It seems to be kind of like almost being turned into a makeshift infirmary, as a lot of bodies are being brought over into that general area. The group did see a big fire in the night coming from the eastern side of the camp. That had been put out relatively quickly, but there is just this like kind of smell of kind of smoke and ash that lingers over the camp. And I'm going to say, Jomilo, you're going to get back to the group. It's going to be like 5 a.m. By the time that you get out there. And that's basically because the keep had been on lockdown. And like you were probably antsy to get back out to the group just to make sure, check to see if they're safe, because you don't know that. But this is the earliest they have allowed anybody across the bridge. And so we're going to pick up with you kind of making your way to the camp. Is it fair to say the group, I guess I don't want to take any player agency away from anybody, but does anybody have other ideas of if any of your characters would have foregone sleep or would have taken a different action here throughout these past, we're going to say like 4 or 5 hours?
I think Fetch would have just made himself useful to whoever needed him at the time, I think.
Yeah. So, Adrian, I think Jomilo comes into the camp. You can see your group is sound asleep. They're still at the caravan where you remember it being. But your perception now, too, is your directions that you got from the former general, Neum Kurti was his name. He was the one that had your interview. And you were in the early processes of getting checked in through immigration. Basically, what he has told you is that you'll have if you can solve what has happened out here, if you can conduct an investigation and figure it out, and if you can bring the people responsible to justice, that he would be willing to grant you entrance into the country. He was pretty short on details. He'd tell you that there was some 20 to 30 people that have been killed in the camp, as far as they know currently, and then probably 100 or so injured on top of that. He would tell you that there was a pavilion tent that was aflame at some point that they had seen on the eastern side of the camp. And I think he would be able to tell you that there were at least 3 blight beasts that had been taken care of, that they were all killed. But they were all born basically within seconds of each other. So those are the details that he gives you. He also tells you that the head ranger who looks after the watchtowers and things like that out in the camp, her name is Captain Augusta. And if you're looking for assistance from the rangers at all, she would be the one to contact, and that she would be able to be found at the central watchtower.
I think the first thing that Jomilo would do is, he would look in the tents and sees them there. Then he's not going to wake them up. He probably thinks that they need rest, but he'll probably start like breakfast for them and just wait until they wake up.
So you get the fire going, and you've got maybe some rations from your time out on the road left that you can make a meager breakfast for everybody. Maybe it's just the warmth of the flame on this cold early winter day, or the smell of what Jomilo is cooking up. But as you all feel it's appropriate, your characters might start to, some of these sensory things might help to wake them up, even in all of your wariness of only getting probably 3 hours of sleep, right?
Well, I imagine Temper was sleeping. I don't think she's like doing the handcuffs anymore with Keller because she trusts him a bit, but she's sleeping across like the opening of the tent to make sure nothing can come in and get him. So her first instinct when she wakes up is to just be like, is he still there? Is he still okay? He didn't turn into anything, no one got him, like just making sure that he's all right. And probably wakes him up in the process because it's like, if you've ever watched a really little baby sleeping so intently and you're like, I hope they're still breathing, and you shake them a little bit to make sure they are, like, she's kind of like that. So it's like, oh, okay, he's breathing because he's maybe batting her away or something.
Yes. Although probably you're picking up that his sleep is a very restless sleep. I mean, he seemed pretty shaken, I guess, by what he was seeing. Maybe you're interpreting it as loyalty, but there's probably a bit of it
Absolutely
that is
loyalty. Come on.
the truth of it is probably some of it is just the fear and horror had struck him, but yeah, he's trying to get a restless sleep in. He has not left.
So if I see Temper like moving about, then I'll be Temper. I'm so glad that all of you are alive. I heard about the horrible things that happened here, and I tried to get back as soon as I can, as soon as I could. Um, have some breakfast.
Thank you. Good to see you're okay too. Did you get attacked?
No, I just had to deal with bureaucracy for 5 days, so
Oh, that's
not as
worse.
rough.
You can't hit bureaucracy.
No, you can't.
Thank you for the food. And then I'll share some with Keller. I'll take it, over by him too. We
And
we have to
Telk,
get out of here. Oh,
Telk, where's Telk? Where's your
and all of a sudden this big ogre just bursts into tears. Like she's crying
oh
and kind of can't get the breath out, like, so I mean, I don't think you're able to hear the words, but you can tell, Telk's not around.
It's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. Don't worry. We'll get out of here soon.
We have to go before something else bad happens.
We can't leave just yet, but I'll tell you once everybody wakes up. I'll let you guys know
Oh,
what we
okay.
need. We need to do something.
I'm gonna go wake everybody up. So I'll wake up the others.
Probably with your sobbing, we probably,
Sounds a conversation might have done it, to be fair. But yeah.
I don't think Papa Gnosis has ever heard, an ogre cry like that. So it's probably was just like, what, like, have you ever heard a sound that you've never heard before and you assume it's something else? So I think he was like, is it raining? Is it thundering? What's happening? And then he realizes, and he's like, oh, okay, what a way to wake up.
So Keller, in the meantime, is like, "What do you mean we can't leave yet? Did you screw this up? Where's our Gusto?"
Gotham should be here. But yeah. So everybody's awake now, right? Everybody. Okay. So if everybody's awake and we're all around the campfire, then I'll just speak in like hushed tone. And well, I met with the general, Curdy, and he had heard, of course, what had happened here, and he said that if we investigate and find out what happened and bring those responsible for what what happened here last night. Then we will be able to leave. We will bypass all this stuff, all the waiting, and we'll go straight in. So,
So so they think like somebody or a group of somebody's is caused what happened?
yeah, yeah, and from what I heard, you had 3 separate attacks at the same time on different parts of the camp, right?
Well, attack people just all spontaneously changed simultaneously at different parts of the camps. So
What could what could change them? Is it just the corruption, or is there some sort of sorcerer?
I would guess that because it was corruption doesn't just all happen at once, right? It's an individual thing. It doesn't make any sense unless someone had some sort of way of forcing corruption.
You guys haven't
Schedule,
seen
right?
anybody unusual, anybody strange?
I mean, everybody's strange. Look around you.
Touche.
Well, there's the backpack with the vines. Do you think that could have done it? Maybe they're corrupt.
So Jamilo's confused backpack?
Oh,
What?
there was a man. He wanted to start a vineyard. There's in his bag. There's vines at the bottom of there. He was trying to smuggle them across, but well, he was unfortunately one of the ones who was turned.
Oh. Okay.
So, I mean, they could be a source of corruption, but I don't think that would be very powerful. We should burn them just in case, though. I think
I think we
maybe.
should. I think we should burn them. But are there any other bodies? How many did you guys kill?
Well, what 2 went over the cliff, and 1 they were just able to kill.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. There's one that was killed on the eastern side,
Yeah,
and that
there's
would,
1 body still, maybe.
that would have been the
Robyn-
one that would have been born of Cease. That would have killed Telk.
And didn't Papa Gnosis put one down as like it started to run for the cliff, but then like I think Fetch and
I
Gnosis
nailed it with
did it.
a crossbow bolt, like
Yeah.
so nice. Yeah.
That's right. So we should have a couple bodies that could investigate, perhaps.
Yeah, like investigate their
Definitely.
tent.
Well, one of their tents is our tent. I mean, it's just his bag right there. The man who we only met him briefly before he took. Well, anyways, we only met him briefly, but this is all he has is right here. So
He asked us to watch it. But then he was the one that turned. I wasn't expecting that.
kind of was not that he would turn. Just I wanted to read him, but I was figured let him get his drink first, give him the benefit of the doubt. But well, saw
And
how
he-
that went.
And he was by himself. There was nobody. He didn't come along with anybody.
He was going to meet his granddaughter or daughter in a different city, right?
Yeah, I think they
It
were
sounded like he
gonna-
was the only survivor of his group that were
Ew,
traveling.
That's right. That's right.
Oh. So none of you have taken a look at the bag?
Oh, Fetch looked at the bag.
Right away.
Well, yeah, we did look at the bag.
Oh. Did you find anything interesting, Fetch?
Just like, yeah, little trinkets and belongings. And then at the bottom was the, relatively well hidden at the bottom was the clippings from his vineyard. But in my defense, he asked us to watch the bag. He didn't say watch the outside. That was...
It's true.
I
I
don't
will
know how you
back you
guys.
up on that all the every day.
I don't know how you guys want to start this investigation, but as soon as you're ready, I'm ready to head out and see what's going on.
Well, let's see. I think we know. Why don't we figure out what we already know, and then I think what we don't know, we can figure out where whatever happened, and go and try to find out about it. Maybe. I think what we know now is what Talc and Cease went to get more drinks, and Cease's head exploded, essentially. Is that all we know, or do we know more than that?
Well, we know that there were 2 others that had a similar experience. Um,
We don't know who they were. That's a what we don't know thing.
Okay.
no.
That would be a good thing to know, because if
Mhm.
we can make a connection between whose heads are exploding, maybe we
Yeah,
can figure out that maybe that's the next, if there is a connection.
I think we can go
Were
through the
they
bag one
also
more
alone?
time.
Yeah, that definitely could not hurt.
So you're searching through Cease's bag, and his clothes, his traveling things, his cookware, all that kind of stuff is in there. Of course, the I don't know that you've destroyed it yet, but the grapevine clippings would still be in there.
Otherwise, it just looks like normal belongings, doesn't it?
Should we destroy it? Or should we hang on to it for now? I don't know. Do we believe that this could be an actual threat?
So one of you has like witch sight, right?
I do, yeah.
So
Yeah, I do.
So you would be able to, I believe you could use that to see auras around things, right?
Okay.
So if you
Yeah, I was
were,
gonna say, see if this bag has a threatening aura.
so let's see how witch sight works. Take the 1d4 corruption, and you probably have a test.
Yeah. I think it's I think that the test is where is it's vigilant versus discreet.
Oh yeah,
So
it's not an actual power. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just make a straight vigilant test.
Vigilant. I was gonna say it's the thing is not gonna be particularly discreet, is it? Because it's a bag. Oh, I just barely got it though.
So oh okay, you do take one temporary.
Yeah, and I take a temporary corruption. Yep.
I would say you don't see an aura of corruption around these clippings.
Okay. They seem okay.
Huh.
Well,
So maybe we can add to what we do know is that these clippings didn't have anything to do with it. That maybe a different investigator might assume that. But,
right.
but we are the bomb, and we figured out that that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
What do we
we
know
could
about the other people's heads who exploded? We just know that the general area that it happened.
just locations, yeah.
Yeah, one of them was Cease, who was on the eastern side with Telk at the time. Um, and then the other two are on your side of the camp, but not really together per se, just in different spots on the western side of the camp.
Maybe someone knows who they used to be.
Ooh.
If they have
Yes.
friends.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is where we start. Brilliant idea.
Perhaps a father of the church could be asking questions a little bit.
Yeah, that would be. I can definitely go about and start asking questions. I think you're right. I think that people would be more likely to talk to a priest of Prios. Jomilo, would you at least accompany me? I think having a guard that recently came back from the other side would certainly help the look. Cool. So yeah, I think maybe we'll do we want to split up, or do we all want to head in that direction?
I'm not a priest.
This is true.
Oh,
So yeah,
I'm sorry. I had my mic off. Sorry.
so yeah,
No,
I guess then yeah, I'll suggest that me and Jomilo head off and start asking questions, and if the rest of the group wants to do whatever, then that's cool.
We should probably all go. There was 2 people on the one side, right? So at least we'll.
Yeah.
If we need to split into 2 groups, then we can. But
That makes sense.
So
I like it.
sounds like the group is going to on the western side of the camp where you're basically based out of. You want to go and kind of talk to some people, try to get eyewitness accounts, and just generally see if you can figure out where these people came from, that kind of thing. Why don't you give me? I'm open to different ideas, but I don't know, either vigilant or persuasive.
Alex, in my kind of rounds, kind of listening in on people and trying to feel the zeitgeist and whatnot, did I overhear anybody that had an experience or maybe anything like that I could call upon to say, oh, this might be a good place to start?
Maybe. How about a vigilant for that?
Yeah. Vigilant. Come on, Papa. Here we go. I barely passed.
Passed it. Okay. You overheard people, kind of generally speaking, talking about how there had been a larger caravan that had arrived in the past 2 days on the eastern side. And a lot of people are suspecting there's something, it's got to be those newcomers.
So it's not like something that's confirmed. It's just kind of like a rumor. These newcomers, one of the newcomers, the head exploded.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people. That's like the initial rumor mill, right? Like,
Yep.
Like nobody knows who these people were necessarily.
Was there any sort of like description of like a wagon or a look to the caravan that we could use to identify them from any other caravan in the camp? Because this camp is full of caravans.
I think like just from being in the camp, you'd probably know what they were talking about because you were probably there the day that the wagons arrived and like set up on the eastern side. So we'll say that you generally know like which wagons came with that group.
Yeah, and we've been here a while, so you recognize where people settled and where new people are kind of plopping down.
Yeah, and honestly, there wouldn't be anything unusual about it because you didn't think anything of like another caravan coming into the refugee camp back when it happened. All of the wagons and everything were kind of standard, what you'd expect coming up north from the old country and things like that.
I think Cease said he'd been here a while too, like longer than us. I think.
Oh, yeah.
What about the soup kitchens? That's where everyone goes. Everyone goes to the soup kitchen at some point for food.
Yeah.
So that might be a good place to start asking around about the people.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think maybe what is closer to us right now, Alex? Would it be the closest soup kitchen, or where we would know where that new caravan is kind of settled in?
Well, so there's two soup kitchens. I'm kind of picturing you're still over on your side of the camp, on the western side of the camp, and so there is a soup kitchen over here. The caravan, the new caravan, they're all like on the eastern side, but there's a soup kitchen over there also.
And the pavilion that burned down, is that on the eastern side too?
Yes.
Okay.
And now that you know about this new group that came into camp, you know, you haven't been over there yet, and you probably haven't really scoped it out, but you're kind of putting two to two together. Like that pavilion was over in that
Mm,
group.
interesting.
Mm. Okay,
I mean,
so it's a chance that that is indeed the case.
yeah, so I guess then we should head out east to the eastern part of the camp and see this new group of people here.
Yeah.
I
And
wonder
as we're doing that, I'm not like officially reading corruption on everybody, but I'm using my, vibey thing that I do when I'm trying to cheat people out of money and just kind of get a feel for people's general intentions, to see if I see anyone who's acting suspicious or acting, like they are on the verge of exploding themselves.
Sounds good. So you guys are all like kind of taking to the little dirt roads that pass between the tents and wagons and everything. You're heading to the eastern side of the camp. You know, it's like probably like 6 a.m. or so at this point. So it is the hours where the early risers in each camp are getting up and doing just like Jomilo did, and starting up the fire, starting up breakfast and things like that. You're passing by a lot of mournful faces. You can tell which of these people. Pretty much everybody was connected to somebody, whether it was a family member, a friend, a neighbor back home, somebody that they've been traveling with, and so you're looking past just miserable faces that are still having to get up and do their normal routine this morning just to keep themselves warm and fed. Things on the eastern side of the camp look kind of as rough as they do on your side. You see a lot of tents that had been collateral damage from when even though there was only one abomination on this side of the camp didn't have you, and they didn't have maybe as many rangers protecting them. So the devastation to the unarmed refugees was a little bit worse. A lot of it seems to be we'll say, so this is like one of the soup kitchens here. We're going to say that a lot of the tents and things being like trampled over and everything are kind of at this intersection right here where these three roads kind of converge. And so you're noticing a lot of that. But then the pavilion, we'll say that caravan that pulled up, like all their wagons are kind of over here. So it seems like it's separate from the destruction of the abomination, and yet there is that you can see where that pavilion is, that tent. Half of it looks like it endured pretty heavy flames, and then the other half has like fallen in, and it's just collapsed on the little hill where it was built up. And you're probably still noticing, there's like two rangers that are kind of doing rounds, like checking in with some of the refugees and handing out some food and things like that, clean water. Sorry about that, Jomilo. You're gonna check.
I want to check out the pavilion, and then I think we should talk to whoever who's running this caravan to see what what did they experience on the way in? Or did they pick up anybody? Maybe, that was a little off.
I think yeah, I think that's good. I think Papa Gnosis is thinking maybe we should talk to the Rangers too, or maybe first to get the scoop, a little bit of a scoop, and then kind of go in and try to find out who the leader is and talk with them.
Sounds good. Did you all want to take a look at the tent first?
I want to look at the tent. I want to see what burned.
So, give me anybody who wants to a vigilant test. Yeah.
Jomilo's not very vigilant.
No, I'm not either. But Keller's going to help me, and I'm sure with his help, I'll do a wonderful job.
I got you too.
Woohoo!
No, I'm not good at being vigilant. I'm glad you guys are.
So, the first thing that you guys would notice, those of you that passed the test, is that as you're approaching the tent, outside of the tent, maybe just a few meters from the entrance to it, clearly somebody lost a lot of blood because it's staining the dirt there, and it's just soaked. And it looks like you can even see that there's a little bit of a trail from that pool that leads off to the west. So, like, further into the camp. Let's see. That is all you see. You get up to the tent. And, the canvas, some of it is damaged and burned, but some of it has dropped over the campsite. And it looks like there's probably objects or there are things under there because you can see how the canvas rests. It's not flush with the floor. You want to rummage through the debris?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
I'll
yeah.
rummage.
Okay. So you all kind of collectively move in and start, pulling up the canvas. The ashen part just kind of disintegrates into dust. And as you're pulling it up, you're maybe taken aback for a moment as you make the discovery that there are two bodies under the canvas, a man and a woman.
Nobody has thought to take these
Yeah.
poor people out here.
Bury them?
It's very chaotic. Maybe no one knew.
Well, I mean, it's hard to believe we're the first to look under the canvas. Are they burned or what's the state of the bodies?
They are maybe a little bit, but it doesn't look like their cause of death was that they burned to death. One of you has the medicus ability. Anybody that has medicus, if you want to do a cunning test, you could determine more about their status. So fetch, even though the bodies look like there's there's a little residual burn or whatever, that must have come after their deaths, because the wounds that seem to have killed them are definitely blade wounds, likely long swords through their torso. And it looks like it must have been a pretty precise strike, because they are wearing this kind of unusual armor. It's almost like a chainmail, but it's got fabric that coats it, so it almost has it doesn't look like armor, except by like a close eye looking at it. It's very expensive type of material, something that maybe like a very high profile assassin or somebody with some means that really that wanted to go incognito but yet have a little bit of protection.
So wasn't the fire, wasn't the abomination, these guys were taken out.
That's not what I expected. I was expecting heads exploded.
Well, I mean, this implies a lot, right? It implies we have these people here, and obviously, separately, there are another group of people or individual who is trying to counter them. So, in this camp, not everyone is what they seem to be, clearly.
Could also be somebody covering their tracks.
So
Taking out the people who know something.
Mm-hmm.
another piece of information as you're rifling through the tent, you'll count that there are 5 bedrolls and discarded in the near the corner of the pavilion a set of shackles.
Are they broken or were they opened normally?
I'm gonna say they're not broken.
We might need Temper's expertise here. Temper,
What? What?
you know something about shackles.
Well, yeah, if you put them on people, they can't get away.
Somebody got away.
Well, there's keys. Did someone use a key?
That's what I would imagine. Is
Or
there any
magic.
signs?
Can you use magic to get out of shackles?
Maybe. Are
So
there
we
any
have
You can use magic to convince someone to get you out of shackles.
there you go.
Oh, that's smart. See, you're so smart, Elin.
Is there any chance that there's any sort of like trail or anything from the shackled area or any kind of like, we wouldn't be that lucky that there's like,
Well,
footprints.
The blood had
Yeah.
a trail.
there is a blood trail outside of the pavilion. Does the blood trail start here
No,
within the pavilion?
no. The blood trail starts like a couple meters south of the the pavilion. So that whoever that blood is from, like they were chopped or sliced or cut or maimed outside of the tent.
So there's 3 people missing.
3 people. One of
And-
them supposedly in shackles. Well,
And I'm guessing the person in shackles wasn't either of these 2 people in the armor. Because you don't kill somebody and then unshackle them.
Yeah. Or
We're looking for an escapee and at least one escapee and potentially the people who got them free by killing a couple of people. I don't know.
Is there anything else in there that could, any kind of clues that we can figure out what and why, or is this it's just kind of the bodies and the shackles and not much else in there?
I'll let you give me another vigilant test with a -5.
Ooh, gee. Vigilant modifier -5. Way nope. Oh, do we have rerolls?
We
Probably
do
not.
not.
Okay. Meow, meow, meow.
Well, we could ask the Rangers, but would the Rangers know who these people were?
Do we keep this close to our chest, or do we tell the Rangers about the bodies? Or do we keep this close for now?
I want to find out who was in charge of this caravan. They'll be able to tell us, right?
Yeah, I think
We're
so.
investigating, right?
Yeah.
So
Or the investigators.
we can ask the rangers. We can ask neighbors. Like there's other tents around as well. So
Yeah, let's
I
head
know there
over
was
to one
chaos
of the
happening,
tents.
but yeah.
Do you think the person who lost the blood is still alive? We could ask them if they're still alive. Maybe some of you could ask him even if he's dead. Can any of you talk to dead people?
We can talk to
Can
them. They
we?
don't answer me though.
Ew.
Oh.
Well, yeah, there is a blood trail, right? That is going off. Anybody want to follow that trail, or do we still
I
want
want to follow the trail.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad idea. But the trail probably leads away. So why don't we get the information we can while we're here, and then we can go away. So why don't we talk to the Rangers, talk to the leader, follow the blood trail.
But Papa Gnosis, if the person's dying, they might be dead by the time we get there. If they're bleeding a lot.
A lot of
guess
blood.
It's a
I guess
lot
that's
of
a
blood.
really good point.
And the longer we wait, the more people are walking over the blood that we're going to try to track. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
you gotta
just
there is that.
follow
too.
the trail.
Let's do it.
Okay. So the trail it leads west, and it doesn't like follow road. It's like walking through just wherever there aren't tents, basically. And it's gonna lead you back. I should probably be using your little token, I guess. So if you're over in this direction here, it's gonna bring you more to the western side. And it'll bring you about right here. And it seems to lead to a patched tent. Probably larger than the average tent in the camp. It looks like it could probably fit maybe 3 to 4 people inside. Little campfire area out front where there is a fire going. And we'll say there are 3 horses hitched outside, laying down nearby the tent. And there is maybe a heap of kind of bloody looking clothing sitting outside the eastern side of the tent.
Who wants to sneak in?
Maybe we don't have to sneak. Maybe we say, "Oh, we're medics. We saw blood. Is someone in need of assistance?" We are medics. I mean, we infect. We can do something.
Good idea.
And you said the bloody clothes are outside the tent?
Yes.
I think we should inspect those, and then I'm going to take a look at them.
I think I just heard something happen, so there might have been a donation that came in. Let's see. $10 from Tux. Hey, Tux, looks like 2 rerolls for the group, so thank you so much, Tux. Appreciate that. They're on a little bit of an investigation here, so there might be a lot of rolls, so they might be able to use these rerolls in short order. Papa Gnosis, you were sorry, what were you about to do?
I was gonna check out the bloodied clothes before we head in, just see if there's anything in there, if there's any clues.
Sure. So it looks like there's like 3 sets of breeches, 3 sets of like tunics that are in there. They all look adequately bloodied and ripped, as if they had been pierced by weapons or slashed with a blade. As you're all checking that out, there's like this elderly man, that kind of an aged man with a gray beard, kind of bushy eyebrows. He's carrying 2 buckets of water, and he kind of stops short. The rest of you probably notice him as he is like, "Hello, what are you doing with those clothes there? That's the laundry. You will put that back."
We're not stealing bloody clothes, and we're actually about to go into this tent to help out these people.
Oh, all right. I'll let them know that you've arrived. Puts down his buckets, and he just kind of like slowly walks over to the tent. "Madam, there are some people here looking around the camp. Seems like they want to talk to you." And you just hear, "Oh, son of a... I will be right there. She will be with you shortly." Just kind of hobbles over to the side with his water. And then it's...
Could I ask him a question?
Sure.
Oh, excuse me. Were you on that caravan that just got here a couple days ago?
No. We've been here for a little bit of time. Maybe about a week or so.
Okay.
And a few minutes later, you see maybe a fairly athletic looking woman come out of the tent, very bandaged around her torso. It looks like she's got kind of some bruised flesh, maybe on the right side of her face. Just looks like she's been through hell, and she kind of limps out. She gives a sign of Prios, and she says, "We're all very wounded, very injured after last night's events. Are you here with the Rangers? You have questions for us?"
You're muted.
Oh.
I pushed the button. All right. We actually, the questions can wait. We saw the bloody clothes and the trail of blood, and we've been out healing people all night last night, and then we thought that you might be in need of assistance.
We're fine here.
You look very, well, not fine.
We're going to need a few days, but we will make it through. There are people that are much more in need of care than us.
I can't see how that would be possible when there's so many sword wounds apparently in this laundry here.
Oh, that's okay. We'll have a look, and Jomilo will go into the tent.
She is in like no physical condition to try to stop you, but you can see that like the instinct is to like go and like shoulder tackle you out of the way. But she like pulls something, and then you go inside the tent, and you can see that there are there are 2 other people in the tent that are laid out on the ground on bedrolls. They look like they're passed out. They're breathing, but they're like worse than she is, like bandaged up, like wounds all over their bodies. And they're out.
What kind of wounds are they?
I guess you can't really tell because they're bandaged up, but
Is it 2 men?
2 men. Yep. Probably other things that you would notice in the tent. There looks like there's maybe some like medical herb, like on a little wooden stool sitting there, like they've been getting treated for their pain.
Does one person, I'll check their arms and their legs. Does one person look like they've been shackled up for a while?
You don't
Any
see any
kind of
evidence of
bruising?
that. No.
Then I'll tell everybody else, come on in here. We got some injured men here, doing pretty badly.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll kind of join them too
Now
and
just
go in
realize
there.
it is a tiny tent, right? Like
Yeah,
you're
I
all
don't
not going to
go
fit in
in.
there.
No, I'm not going in.
push my head in. Oh, these people are even worse off than you. They are in desperate need of our help.
I am tending to them. Prios's light is with them. We will heal in time.
We have a father of the faith right here.
Do do we notice that any of them, like their wounds, do they look like lacerations or piercing wounds? Because I imagine like anything from the mostly from the rest of what was going on would be like kind of blunt object sort of bruises, things falling. I'm kind of curious to find this bleeder.
You can't exactly tell, but the dressings that they have on them would like fit with that. Like that's a plausible thing that they have been sliced or pierced.
Okay.
So Jomilo will move out of the way so that Elin and Fetch can do their magic. And I'll take a look at the woman, and I'll take a look at her wrists, her feet, and see if there's any evidence that she was shackled up for a while.
Make a discreet test.
Jomilo is not very discreet. He's got one, he's laser focused. Yeah, no.
So you don't see any of those types of marks around her wrists, but she notices that you seem to be very overtly looking at them, and she says, "No, if you're looking for the prisoner, I'm afraid that she is no longer in the camp."
She?
Yes, the Night Witch. And
Night Witch.
we are all incapacitated now, and so it would seem that there is no stopping her.
What about those 2 people in the other tent? The one in that fancy chainmail. Were they with you?
No. They were with the church.
Church. And are you saying that this Night Witch killed those 2?
Ooh, juicy.
No. We killed them.
And why?
Because that hag, she's the daughter of the Eternal Night, and she needs to be put down. In the chaos of last night, seemed like the moment to strike. We've been tracking them for some time.
How did she escape if she was shackled?
I don't know. It was chaotic. I seem to remember there was somebody else in the battle that slipped into the pavilion. Must have been the ones that knocked over, caused it to go up in flames.
Was it a man? Was it a woman?
I don't. A man. I don't
Young,
know.
Old, tall.
I don't. All I know is I saw them, a hooded figure, leaving out of camp with her. Who knows how many miles away they are now, out there in the wilderness.
So let me get this straight. When did you kill those 2 priests? Was it after you found out that the witch was gone?
No, it all happened at the same time. We,
Wow. What a coincidence.
yes, what a coincidence. And who do you work for? Who are you in league with?
I'm just curious here. I just want to know what's going on. You know, we're here. We've left hell to come back here to the promised land, and now people are being killed. And you apparently killed 2 priests.
Well, they're the better for it. They are with the Light Father now.
Yeah, but you kind of murdered them.
Yeah, and who are you to murder a priest of Prios? Who charged you with the mission to do this when they had her shackled and under their charge? Have you been given a mission with a greater cause? Like,
Yes, from God himself.
oh,
Which god?
from Prios
Those
himself?
black cloaks are just as corrupted with politics, taking a heretic like her into Ambria alive. No. She needs to be put down. For far too
So-
long has the clergy turned a blind eye and shown mercy. Our God
I
is
see.
dying, and this is why.
I get it now. It's all coming into sight.
Elin's in the tent and is about to heal the guys, but then is hearing this and is like, they'll probably survive without, my intervention here. So
Has it occurred to you that perhaps your intervention is what has allowed the witch to go free? And your extremism has caused there to be an even greater danger to this camp and to the world? Great job. Thank you. And I think at this point, like Papa Gnosis thinks that maybe these guys need to be pacified, or at least like stopped, because they seem like they're sort of like terrorists.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but
So I think he's sort of like hinting maybe to at least to Jomilo, like we can't let I don't know, be ready something like I don't know. Maybe he's going to reach over to like hold his hand and be like, yeah, I care about you, like squeeze it.
I want to sweep her legs and get her down on the ground, and I'll just sit on top of her.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
And wherever she's hurt, I'm gonna press on that wound.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any check necessary. Like, she's basically, helpless. So if you do that, she falls on her back and just cries out in pain very loudly, and is there just like wincing, tears pouring out of her eyes from the pain.
I'm gonna tie her up. I'll let
Yeah.
her cry and whatever. I don't care. She's a murderer. She just admitted it to me, to us.
Yeah. And even though these other people are injured, like I don't know if we should tie them up or if we should tie them to their bed. Like I think we need to turn these people in, especially if we're trying to get in the good graces of, the government here.
And the general told me to contact the head ranger, Captain Augusto. She's in the central tower. So maybe we can bring them to her.
or just you run and get her and bring them here so we could,
Okay.
we're not dragging them hog tied through the street.
Maybe we should though. Make an example.
Maybe we should, right?
No,
A warning to
because-
everybody else.
No, because the hooded person may be the one that started everything to rescue the witch. And these people, and then if we drag these people through, it gives the hooded person an advantage to know we know.
I
If
think we
they're
should keep
still
it
around.
quiet. Keep it
Yeah,
quiet.
good call, good call.
They're incapacitated here.
Keep it on the
Just
DL.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'll
But
go
go-
to the head ranger then.
Yeah, go get the head ranger, and let's and let's keep a mental note, right? Like, this could be something that had to do with the whole thing, or it could be these people being opportunists. But either way, it was literally some bad shit was going on, and either some terrorists caused it or they took advantage of it. You know?
So I gag her. I just put one of those clothes that were out there. I just rip out a sleeve and just like shove it into her mouth and said, "Okay, keep her in the tent. I'll be back."
But where's the old man in
What do
all
we
this?
do with? Because this old man is. I'm
Right?
out with him. So
I mean, he I think is probably like an and like took off or is like running away from the camp.
no,
He called
running away?
me.
no,
Get
I don't know. You got to stay here until you answer the questions. I'll run after him if he runs away.
Okay. Give me a
Is he not so old now?
no. He's old, but
He's a wily, fast little man.
I don't know.
I won't
Give me a
hurt
quick
you,
test.
Just stop. Okay. No, I got
Yes.
Okay, you managed to catch up to him, and not a challenge to hold him.
Oh, I can win a race against an old man. Yeah.
Put me down. Why are you doing this to?
No, but you just have to come back. So I'm just kind of carrying him out in front of me. I don't know what's going on, but everyone needs to stay put.
Was it Night Hag? Is the Night Hag something we know of?
What could we do here? How about a cunning test? A cunning test with a. Give me 1 second. I want to see what their suggestion is. Let's say a cunning test with a -5. Yeah, probably -5.
Oh, wow.
I think maybe I saw Lauren. Maybe you were mouthing something.
Oh, I was gonna.
Did we all
It's
fail?
taking so long. I was gonna say we all failed. Do we want to re-roll since we have a couple of re-rolls?
I
Who's
didn't
got the
roll,
best
but I
cunning?
failed too. I was so
Almost.
close with my low cutting. I didn't roll initially because I was thinking I wouldn't have been there, but then I'm like, well, maybe I heard it from the outside of the tent, but
Yeah.
no,
Someone.
I'm
Anybody
chasing an old man.
Does anybody have a high cunning?
No, my cunning is 10.
Me
Yeah,
too.
mine too.
13.
Fetches is the best.
You want to re-roll it? You want to re-roll it, Fetch?
If you like.
I will support you if you want to.
All right.
Think
but I
really
won't
hard,
force you to.
Fetch. Think really hard.
Oh,
Aw.
nice try. It was a good try.
A different character
With
wants
crack.
to try. You got one more.
Oh Lord, I just don't know. 10 minus 5. That's a rough.
Yeah, me too.
Those are some rough odds, man. You know what? I'm going to Vegas. Let's do
It's
it.
for
Screw it.
charity.
It's for the kids. This was cunning, we said?
Cunning. -5.
-5. All right. Papa needs new pair of shoes. Oh, Jesus.
You really don't know.
You knew less now than you did before.
We have never heard of this in our lives.
You know, I'm so much more confused that I'm convinced I have it figured out. Gosh.
Maybe
Rough.
someone else knows, We'll find out later.
Yeah. Hopefully it wasn't important.
So the broad strokes here that I'm gathering is Temper, Gnosis, Elin, and Fetch are gonna stay with these I guess you really don't know who they are, but the subdued people that you've just taken prisoner, and then Jomilo is going to go to the central watchtower. Okay, so we'll flash to Jomilo. So you're going to head to the center of the camp, where there's, you can see the watchtower still has a couple of rangers at the top. Man, I'm getting flooded with bots tonight. 1 second. All right, sorry about that. You're getting towards the watchtower. You can see that there are a couple of rangers on top of the watchtower. It seems like there's a bit more activity towards the kind of the wooden administrative building that sits abut the tower. You can kind of hear wails of pain, maybe coughing and things like that. Those noises coming from that area, and as you approach, you can see all like the furniture and desks have kind of like been moved out, and they're just used. The whole area of the office is basically like people laid out on little bedrolls. But there's a number of people, looks like just maybe volunteers from the camp that are tending to many of the wounded. And there is a woman, hooded. She wears leather armor. She's got a bow on her back, longsword on her side. She's wearing a little badge that's like embroidered or sewn into her cloak that seems to suggest the rank of captain. And so you're probably thinking this is Captain Augusta, and she looks like she's not too wounded. She's maybe moving with a little bit of like a limp, but for the most part, you don't see massive blades or massive wounds, I should say. None of these people are wounded by blades. These are all people that were caught by the abominations the previous night. So she stands and she moves over to you and she says, "Is there something I can do for you? Is there?"
Yes, General Curdy sent me here to investigate what happened last night, and in my investigations, I came across 2 murdered priests of Prios, and I have 3 people who admitted to killing those 2 people. Did you know about these priests that had a night witch in custody?
She just like looks at you like you're talking like a foreign language to her. She's like, "What? Night Witch?
Yeah.
Is this Night Witch responsible for what happened last night?"
We don't know. We don't know yet. We just started the investigation just like an hour ago. But we do have 3 people who do admit to killing the 2 priests that had the Night Witch in custody. We don't know how she escaped.
Okay. So, are you giving me a progress report?
I want to know what you know about this.
I don't know.
What do you
Look
know?
around you. I don't know anything right now except for what's coming to me from the few rangers I have out in the field. Look, if there's something that I can do for you, I'd be happy to do so. But we are very, very busy here at the moment with the wounded. This is my priority right now. If you've got some kind of mandate from Curdy, you're free to carry it out however you see fit.
Okay. Do you know anything about the caravan that came in a couple days ago? Like who's in charge?
From what I understand, the caravan leader was killed last night.
Do you know the name?
I don't have the name. I'd have to check with the records. But he is among the dead. That much I can tell you. Many of the people on the western side lost their lives last night.
Yeah, that's where these people were. These people were in the pavilion. The two people that were killed were in the pavilion. That's where the Night Witch was as well.
Well, if this Night Witch has something to do with what happened, then
But I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Me and my team, we're gonna have to try and find this Night Witch. But just so you know, we have 3 murderers out there, bound and gagged. So if you want to pick them up, that's up to you. But I suggest not picking them up yet.
I'm not in the business of dealing with a murder investigation right now.
Sure.
You deal with it however you see fit. Who are they?
Some fanatics that think that these priests should have been killed because they had this Night Witch with them. I'm guessing that these priests were bringing the Night Witch into forgot the name of the but yeah. So I don't know what affiliation they have or anything like that, but they're not sorry for what they did. I just wanted to let you know and see if you had any information that could help me in my investigation.
I know there was a fire somewhere on the eastern camp. It sounds like that's what you've investigated.
Yep.
We haven't had a chance to get out there yet.
Well, there's 2 bodies in there if you want to pick them up.
You say these people are fanatics?
Mm-hmm.
Like worshippers of another god? What do you mean by fanatic?
They just believe that all abominations or any witches or anything like that should be killed on sight.
That doesn't sound fanatical to me. That seems reasonable.
And so Jomilo is now like, oh God, these complicated factions. He's like, okay, well, all right. I guess you're okay with murder in your camp.
She's just like looking at you like, what? What are you talking about?
All right. I'll be on my way. I'll let you know if I find anything.
Sounds good. So you leave her. Now you have to remember, right? Everybody is a worshiper of Prios. And so
Right.
like the notion of killing a witch or a heretic is probably
Right.
like the common idea.
No, but I thought that she would be upset that they killed 2 priests of Prios.
Yeah, I think
that part it would, so just like what is the general feel there? She can't, the other people had heard this previously, but the rangers don't really do police action in the camp, and that's like a thing that she just can't even like think about right now because she's got such a chaos mess with dealing with the wounded.
Right, and the priests they had alluded to the priests were what black hoods or what?
Yeah,
what are they
so
called?
just a rephrase that those people in that tent probably weren't actually priests; they were probably black cloaks,
Oh,
Right.
Black Cloak.
Yeah, they were black cloaks,
like
and
low
so they were
ranking.
What's the faction name for the Black Cloaks?
I mean, they would be the church of Prios,
Yeah.
the
So
Curia,
they're not priests, but they're like the
priests
I mean,
agents.
the way that I look at it, the way that I would look at it, because I'm an independent mystic, is that they're kind of like Prios's Gestapo,
Kinda,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but in the fact that we're sort of sucking up to the government right now to get over the bridge, we sort of figured turning in the people who killed them would be a good thing, but I sort of forgot about the Rangers not being police. We're kind of on our own with this. We're either going to have to carry these people around with us or tie them up just to stay where they're at or kill them.
I mean, they are injured. We could take them to the injured tent and she would probably watch them there.
I think we need to ask these fanatics about the attack was the attack already happening when they tried to kill the hag?
I think that's what they said. They
did
used it
that
as a
abomination
cover.
happen afterwards? I don't know.
They
I don't
said
think
everything
it was
popped
clear.
off, and they used it as a cover. They were like, "Oh, everything's popping off. This is a great time to go after the Night Witch."
Okay.
That's what they said. Now, whether that's true or not, we I don't think we've determined, but that is what they're telling us.
Which could make sense because if the hooded person started things and was getting there to release the Night Witch, then when they're killing the Black Cloaks, the hooded person lets the Night Witch go.
Mm.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Black Cloaks, don't the Black Cloaks want their hands on the magic users? Like they want to take them back and I guess study them, right? Alex, or am I wrong with that?
What happened with the other barbarian ranger, right?
Yeah,
Black Cloak who
so
was with their caravan took them to some kind of monastery or whatever.
yeah, their monastery that's like in the general area up in the mountains.
Yeah, so I don't think that they would. The Black Cloaks would want to set her free. You know.
No, they had
No, that
her.
cloaked
So
person, though,
Temper
yeah.
wouldn't say this, but Robin's thinking they had her.
Yeah.
Right? We have these injured people that wanted to kill the Black Cloaks and the witch, but meanwhile, this hooded person wanted to release the witch. So while the people were killing the Black Cloaks, the hooded person released the witch. So that the
Right.
only one that wanted to release
Ah.
the witch is the hooded person who's
Her
now
Right.
gone with the witch.
Who's a separate party? That's
Yes.
yeah.
And that could be the party that has
Started the
conceivably,
whole thing,
potentially
yeah.
has timed
Yeah.
the abominations as a
So we're just
distraction.
losing time now, waiting
Yes.
around. Yeah.
Robin,
Yep.
or sorry, Lauren, I think you're muted.
What happened to our little friend that had the power to keep the storm away from us? Has he been seen any time recently?
Yeah, he was in your camp.
He was in our camp, so he hasn't put on a hood and absconded with a witch or anything.
It's another stone, a corruption stone, you know.
No, you saw him. He was eating some breakfast, like
Okay, he's
chit chatting with you probably this morning.
Just checking,
Whenever there's a problem now, we're like, where's Batarmo? But whatever his name is.
Yeah, so I'll get back to the group and let them know that we're on our own for this investigation. We're not going to have any help from these rangers.
Yeah, and then I'll apologize and tell him, I think I kind of knew that, but I was distracted.
No. Curdy, the general, told me to go talk to her, so it's not your fault. I don't know why Curdy would make me want to talk to them, but okay. So we got to find out who these people are, who they represent, just so we know, and then we got to find out where the Night Witch and the hooded figure went off to.
Well,
think
I can probably piss them off enough to get them to say who they represent if I just start doing some witchy shit to them. So,
Oh, and the caravan leader, one of the dead from last night. So that's a dead end there.
I want to see the witchy shit.
All right, so Elin is trying to intimidate them into.
yeah, intimidate, just kind of try to make them so uncomfortable because they hate my kind so much that they, inevitably let loose at whatever they, really feel about everything. So I'll go in. I assume the woman, she's conscious right now. She's just in pain and hogtied.
Yeah.
All right.
She'd be like, if you're in engaging with her, she would just be talking to you probably and saying, you have to stop her. Terrible things are going to happen if she is not stopped, if she's released.
Well, I agree. It would have been a lot better if she were still shackled up, but she's not, is she now?
That isn't our doing. I don't know who that was.
Well, there were 2 guards that could have, tried to defend against whoever that was, had y'all not shanked them.
What is it that you want with me?
I just want to know who are you? What do you represent? Who do you represent? What's your aim here?
And what do you know about the hooded gentleman that's with the witch?
I don't know anything. I told you I don't know anything about who that is. I assume one of her heretical followers or someone that
Who is
doesn't mean to do any good.
Okay, let's. How did you even know that she was here, and who is she?
Our contacts in Yandaros told us about the prisoner delivery, that the church was moving to take her there. Take her from the old capital and bring her to Temple Wall. For whatever reason, the church has held her prisoner instead of executing her. Maybe because she can't be killed. But we had to do everything that we can to try. She's
So
an
the church-
abomination.
The church couldn't kill her, but you thought you could.
Well,
You thought this one through very hard.
we have Prios on our side, the real Prios.
I'm sorry, the
Prius?
real Prios?
As opposed to fake Prios.
Yes.
You say yes like that just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it really
You
does.
might need to give some clarification.
They're trying to
Yeah.
make Prios great again, you know?
She will tell you that they are those that believe that Prios is on the verge of death. Which isn't, like, maybe that dramatic of a difference than what the clergy would say. Like, they often say, Prios's strength has waned after all that he has given during the war, and that is why he must be revered, that all of Ambria needs to give him their strength in their belief and in their good works. But what she is saying sounds more dire, like he is going to die because the actors in the church are self-serving and are corrupt. So, in the context of this situation with this witch, they think that it is a political game that they have kept her alive. And this is a sign of weakness that they aren't willing to do what needs to be done to keep Prios at the front of people's faith. They will share with you that she is a worshiper of one of the old gods.
Which one?
The Earth Mother.
Oh.
So from their belief, these are very, very fanatical Prios worshippers. From their perspective, the worship of other gods is like it's a zero-sum game, right? If all of a sudden other Ambrians start worshiping these other gods, Prios will die because he's that weak.
A lot of faith they have in their god there. I mean, look, it's kind of weird, right? Because they're definitely fanatical. They're definitely sort of terrorists because they took out these black cloaks. But they're not wrong about this Night Witch being a threat. You know?
They're also probably not wrong about whatever, hierarchical games that they're playing in the Church of Prios. I'm sure
But
also
that's a
accurate,
but that's a
right?
given. But that's a given. I mean, look, like I
Stupid
said,
though.
if I personally, these people kind of have my heart a little bit, but they just went about it the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Well, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I am now thinking, right, as also a worshiper of the Earth Mother here, like, well, my uh, loyalty is very conflicted, but also if the church is trying to keep her alive, this witch, that's making my little head spin about what's really going on in the church and with the gods and all of that kind of stuff. And so um it's in my interest for this little crew of, I'm going to say, terrorists to meet their end, because I maybe want their, the witch to at least see what happens, right? Like, I don't think all of this was a good thing, but something's afoot, and I don't know. If I had my way, I would probably be in support of killing these people and ending them. If that's on the table. I don't know that that's on the table for us, but if we're putting out vigilante justice in response to their vigilante justice, edging towards that.
Not
I
gonna
still don't
lie, I'm
understand
sort of with you.
the theory of she can't even be killed and she's really bad. And so what they do is then
Let's
try to kill her, knowing that that's not going to go well and she's probably going to get loose off the back of that.
So that doesn't make sense to me, and the fact that they know nothing about this hooded guy that showed up at the same freaking time doesn't make sense to me. At the same time, I don't know that we're going to get much more information out of them. And so at this point, I think, Papa's kind of being like, I don't know, are we just losing time? I think we got to head out after
Yeah.
try to figure out, like, if they're telling us they head in this direction, maybe we just have to trust in their directions and go.
Well, why don't we
Because
take her with us if she wants to find the Night
There's
Witch?
there's no way you're going very fast with if she's in tow, because she's not in any condition to travel.
Oh, okay.
Lauren, I think you're muted.
You're muted, yeah.
I said I could offer her the healing of the Earth Mother to help her on her path, and see how she feels about that one. How devoted is she? Will she take a little blasphemy to try to
Are you doing that?
Oh, you know what? I'll ask her. I'll
Uh,
be like, so would you? How committed are you to killing this witch?
She needs to go. It is imperative that she is killed.
Why?
I've explained the reasons why.
I no, but about her specifically, just that she weakens her existence, weakens Prios. I mean, her specifically. What has
She
she
is the
done?
head
Something?
priestess of the Earth Mother's worshippers.
there we go.
I see. I see.
There it is.
I'd take a step out of the tent for a second.
Do I let the old man go yet, Elin? Or
No,
do I just
hold on to him. Hold on to
Oh.
him.
Oh, you got like you got this old man, and you've also got what's his name?
I have a collection.
Yeah, Keller on the other hand.
The menagerie. Okay.
Are you okay? You look mad.
Hmm. This has just gotten very complicated for me suddenly. I think we need to just leave these people to their wounds and get on the road. And I guess
Papanosis votes with you on that one.
With just
Okay.
their current wounds?
Let's take their horses.
I like it.
agreed. Yes, yes. Take their horses, and if you want to give them a couple of kicks on the way out.
Sounds good. So,
Can I just quickly ask that woman if she knows where they might be heading, other than just they left going east?
um,
If we're going to finish your work for you. Got any tips?
I'm sorry. Can I retcon something? Because I just realized I told the story slightly wrong. So
What?
when she and the other two of her allies went to the tent to try to deal with the Earth Mother, it wasn't a hooded figure that took her away. It was two of the other Black Cloaks. Like in the fighting, they left the camp. Sorry about that. I there's a lot of things in play in this adventure, and I crossed my hairs on that.
All right, that's all right.
So
Okay, so we got.
so actually,
Black
she is with two Black Cloaks. Is the last that they know. So they believe that they would be probably taking her to the monastery. Would be like the safest place for them to go.
Well, that at least gives us a direction, because otherwise, guys, we would have been just like wandering.
Yep.
Do we know where the
Now-
monastery is, or do we have to ask Bartolome?
Now here's the thing, right? That the fact that the Black Cloaks have the witch changes things, but the fact that the witch is kind of aligned with your goddess also changes things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for her survival openly at this point. So, I mean, I guess not maybe openly to these people who want to, kill my kind, but I mean, the fact that she's alive is very good news to me, and I want to keep it that way. And I feel my stance here is that she is completely innocent in whatever happened, and this is all a big misunderstanding, because she would never create an abomination and this kind of stuff. Like, I'm getting into that religious mindset of course my religious leaders would not ever do such a thing. She is pure and good, so that kind
Does it change the likelihood of them being involved in creating this tree abomination distraction at all?
I think it does a little bit, because I don't see why the Black Cloaks would do that. But at the same time, I think that if this woman is the high priestess of the Earth Mother, that she could be a powerful ally and would be vested in also, Earth Mother probably doesn't like much blight on her Earth. So I think she would be vested in helping us and may have information.
Yeah, I feel it still is our best link to figuring out. Like, they seem to have had, for whatever reason, I don't know, but they seem to have had the most likely, like, to create a diversion to
Yeah.
get her away, right? So
Yep.
I feel like we need to look into it.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
Maybe they're not real Black Cloaks.
Ooh,
Maybe
that would
she's
be juicy.
convincing them to free her, like Elin convinced the thing to jump off the cliff.
I mean, it is possible that she's trying to gain her freedom in whichever way is necessary. But she would never create these abominations. It goes against everything. But someone could, in the chaos of it happening, she could see that as an opportunity to get free, be liberated.
She's a Bene Gesserit.
So, it sounds like the group would like to try to track down the movements of that pair and the Earth Mother or the Night Witch, or whatever word you want to use to describe her.
Whatever you want to call her, yeah.
See where she went. I think as you're maybe heading out of the camp to try to, make sense, you go back to the pavilion perhaps and try to, track from there where they headed. You're gonna get stopped, I think, somewhere before you get out of camp. You're gonna see Brother Huberto approach you. So he's wearing, kind of the brown, very modest, quaint clothing. He's got a symbol of Prios around his neck, and he will approach you, and he'll say, "Hello. I don't know if you remember me from just yesterday. That feels like it's been a month since everything that has transpired, but I was wondering if I might have a word." I noticed that you'd been checking out the pavilion there, and you were talking to those individuals at that tent. Well, I'm not just a mere missionary in the camp myself. I also had been having eyes on that prisoner that has escaped. I represent, and I'm with a group. We are all members of the church. We are followers of Prios, but we also think that the interpretation of Prios, the old interpretation of Prios, is the correct one. Not this god of war that we've come to know over these past decades. I had been sent here from my order, or shouldn't really call it an order, I suppose. Those that are sympathetic to my beliefs, to try to free that prisoner.
And the plot thickens. So we've got extremists on all sides.
I don't know.
Well, if you didn't free her, who did? Do you know who freed her?
Well, she was taken away by the Black Cloaks, I believe. They, of course, mean to keep her prisoner. Take her
so
to Temple
you
Wall.
didn't free her. They just took her.
No, but if you were to get to her and get her with me, we have sympathizers within the country that could protect her. We wish to see her free. We have some that are sympathetic to our way of looking at things, that have the ear of the Queen. And we believe we have her agreement to give her a pardon if we could get her to the capital.
Hold on. You think that the Queen, who's a big believer in Prios as the god of war, may pardon this witch?
Yes.
What's so special about this witch?
Well, she was very outspoken back when Prios's exaltation came to be, and he was declared the singular god of the nation. At that time, it was mandated law to recognize Prios as the one true god. And at that time, many believers in other faiths left the country and headed out west. But there were those that upheld their faith and wished to defend their beliefs in this new context of wartime. Well, call it what you will. It was the necessary thing that allowed us to win the war. But the war is over now. Back when it was happening, I think he'll probably use her real name and call her Mother Elsana. And he'll say that Mother Elsana every day was out in the streets and in front of her temple speaking the truths of the Earth Mother. And eventually, the Church of Prios took it upon themselves to take her prisoner and use her as an example. Every summer solstice, she would be brought very publicly out before the people and given a chance to renounce her beliefs and declare herself for Prios. And every year she would decline. Her belief in her god was steadfast, unwavering. But the church didn't wish to make her a martyr, and so this became a yearly tradition. Now the church wishes to move her north to another jail cell, allow her to waste away and die alone, forgotten.
Not in public because you're afraid. Well, they are afraid that if she is killed by the government, that they might have a little rebellion on their
Yes.
hands.
But, Queen Corinthia, of course, does not want this either. I think she is opening up and warming up to the idea that the Prios of old, the Prios of growth, rejuvenation, of peace, is the Prios that we should remember. The Prios who was himself an old god, who lived among and coexisted with other gods. That is the Prios that we wish to see again. And we think that perhaps by freeing her and getting her a pardon is but a first step towards that reality.
And so when Jomilo hears this, because of his his fear of being found out as a deserter, he says to Huberto, well, if we help you out, do you think that maybe the queen would be willing to recognize our efforts and help us once we cross into her land?
I don't know. I can't make any assurances of that nature. I'm not a member of the nobility, but we have friends in high places. We could, of course, if you were to be instrumental in this, you would be recognized as such, as being responsible for bringing her to us.
Yeah, and preventing a rebellion. Yes, okay. This sounds how does it sound to all of you?
I mean, I'm all for setting her free, obviously. I will say I'm all for setting her free.
I want to do what Elin wants to do, so I'll go with you.
I suspect the nobility's not going to do much for one such as me, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it. Let's go. As an independent mystic, I am vested in seeing this woman go free.
All right. So now you're starting to see how complicated the faith of Prios is, and how many different sub-factions exist within it.
My lord.
Yes.
One more extreme than the next.
But the ones in the tent, are we going to just knowing now what we know about different factions, do we feel comfortable letting them
Well,
survive?
Elin, do you think that they're so hurt that they won't be able to come after us, or are you afraid that they'll get better and come after us?
That's my fear that they'll. I mean, I think days before they're able to, but in a few days, I'm sure they'll try. They're fanatics.
So you're suggesting we go back to the tent and slit their throats?
Well, I mean, that's rather vulgar, but yes.
I I mean, knowing that they're just kind of game to just kill people like me and you, I'm sort of with you, honestly. But it would take a vote from the party to you know, I'd be like, it's all or nothing. It's all of us or none of us.
Okay, so we have 2. Fetch, temper.
I usually don't kill people who aren't fighting me, but I don't really care about them, so. The old man is nice. I
I
like
mean,
the old
this
man.
is a yet situation. They aren't killing us yet, but if we set about what we're about to do, we will become their enemies, and they will try to kill us when they can.
And they literally,
Oh.
like, when it comes to the two of us, they literally believe that we are evil and would not think twice about stabbing us in the face.
Oh, absolutely, yes. If she could have killed us then in that tent, she would have. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. So this is so it doesn't get so they kill us or fight us.
Yeah.
Preemptive.
Exactly.
Preemptive.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
We're being proactive instead of reactive.
I like
Mhm.
that. We need to find more people that we need to stop from hurting us before they hurt us.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm going to be watching for that.
And Fetch, are you okay with us doing this?
I love it, if I'm honest, but I get it. And to be honest, it's easier to hit them once than to have to fight them later.
Me, yeah.
It's not going to get us in
Okay.
trouble,
Can
is
we
it?
do it a
That's
nice
the
way?
biggest thing. But
Yeah.
Well, no, we've been given right. They said we can deal with the problem of these killers
Yes.
however we see fit. So
Yes.
we are
You're not going to
judged.
deal with it.
It's just an eye for an eye. It's really just, Hammurabi's law here.
so just set fire to the tent.
Oh.
Oh. You know, I doesn't really love the idea. You're coming up with the best ones.
I think a fire would cause another panic.
Yeah, definitely. No, we just listen. I will just go into the tent and strangle them, and then we walk out.
There's a reason you took that
You had
ability.
the strangler thing.
The
The
strangler.
Prios Strangler strikes again. Yep.
Sounds good. What the old man? What about the old man though?
I'm gonna bring him in the tent and strangle him.
Richardson? You're going to strangle Richardson?
Yeah, he's a fanatic. He can build 5. He can raise 5 more fanatics, and they'll come and kill us. Tell him, I know what they look like. Go get them.
He was the secret mastermind all along.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, that sounds good. I'm not gonna. There's no fight to be had with
I
them,
don't even
so
have to roll. It's just a strangle fest.
yep.
Oh man. I think I earned my strangler.
It's a good
Achievement
thing
unlocked.
you're going alone to strangle that old man. Temper would not like that.
Just comes out with the big
I didn't
forearm
want
pump.
anybody to see.
Like-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was getting down to business, so I had to be alone.
Oof.
All right.
Life's been harsh on Papa Gnosis, he's a little twisted.
So the Templars have been taken out of the equation,
Ooh, Templars.
and you all are heading into the mountains in hopes of.
Yeah, and we have their horses.
We have their horses, so you got 3
Do-
horses with you.
Do we take Brother Huberto with us?
We rode off on their horses.
Does he want to come?
I think he would elect to stay behind and wait for you to return.
Hmm.
I guess if
I
you
should
really want
probably-
him to come, I'd let you do a persuasive test. You probably don't get the sense that he's not a super powerful person by any means. He's just kind of like a.
Let's just leave him here.
Leave him
Then.
behind. Yeah,
I
we don't
think I'll
want his
leave
blood on our
him.
hands.
I'll leave Keller with him. I don't want to bring Keller into the mountains.
Yeah, that's
Oh my god, that's so sweet of you.
Keller's just like, this isn't a trick, is it?
I trust
Keller-
you. I trust you'll be here when I come back. You stayed last time. And she's got a big smile. It's probably scary because it's an ogre smile, but she's very happy that he stayed last time. You're a good boy. Pat, pat, pat.
Thank you. Good luck out there. Good luck. Strangle one for me on the road if you can. Yeah, we'll see you when you get back.
absolutely will not see him.
I don't know. I liked the
Thanks,
defeated.
Roger.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great. All right. So he's saying it, hanging behind. All right. Did you want to try to convince? Okay. Awesome. So you will. I'm gonna put us on a different map actually. This one. No, this one. Let me know if you all can see it, because usually people can't the first time I try. We'll see.
Oh,
See it?
Oh, good. All right. So this little bridge here kind of, I don't know, it makes it look like there's a bridge directly across the river. Obviously there isn't, but that represents where like the refugee camp is. And so there is, I mean, I think both like there would be like a bit of tracks probably that lead into the mountains from the direction that you came from. And they're basically, you're going to be able to track them right to pretty much the where you left what's her name? What was the name of the black cloak that was with your camp when you were dealing with the elves and things like that? Whatever her name was. You remember when she like left your group and she left with your pathfinder? Like it's leading the same direction, so it's
Okay.
making you think, yeah, they probably are going to that same monastery where she was going. And so you start to follow that path up through the mountains. You're just kind of following a lot of this road that's like pretty much right on the side of the mountain and just kind of like slowly does an incline up. Some pretty treacherous paths. The winter has begun, so these are snowy paths, but it makes your tracking somewhat easier. We'll say that you travel maybe like 7 hours, 6-7 hours or so, and then you get to you're up this ascent, and as you're turning the path, looking down, you could see like elevation wise, you can look down like the camp and the river and everything is just like minuscule at this point. You probably can't see the refugee camp even from where you are anymore, but you can definitely see the river. And up ahead on the road where you're at, there's some vegetation off to the right, sheer rock cliff there. Off to your left is nothing. It's just a wrong step here would be certain death for you, right? And up ahead, as you were moving, you see that there are two seemingly dead people on the road. There's quite a bit of blood. And there are also three Katkas. And Katkas are basically very large, almost like a snow cat or a snow leopard or something like that. I think I've got images here.
Ooh.
Yeah, kind of like
It's really
white
Birdie.
fur, which is these two is kind of stained red around their mouths because they are definitely like eating one of the bodies.
Ooh.
You said there were 2 dead people and 3 of the Katkas?
Yeah, and
Okay.
all three of the Katkas are concentrated on one of the bodies, kind of pulling it apart a bit,
Hmm.
snacking on its insides, whereas like the other one is off to the side. You're all maybe like at least like 100 feet away. It doesn't seem like they're immediately alerted to you. They're pretty much concentrated on eating at the moment, but you can't really get any further without crossing them.
I would start
Do we try to
backing
get
up.
some like high ground and try to take them out from a range, distance? They seem like they'd probably be fast and strong.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make him jump off into the chasm.
Ooh, can you control the mind of a beast?
I think we can.
Ooh.
I assume you guys can do anything. That's kind of
I think we
Let me
might
look.
actually be able to.
You may be able to.
What is the
Enough
name of
time
the
and a bag of
ability?
treats.
Pull it
Bend
up
will,
again.
right?
Yeah,
Ben
Ben will.
Seize control of a creature's will. It says a creature's will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a resolute versus resolute test.
How far is the chasm?
Oh, I mean, like if something goes off the edge here, like it's plummeting to its death.
It's
Well, tell me,
dead.
how far do they have to run to get to the chasm? Like, how many turns would that be of rolling resolute test?
Oh, I mean, maybe one, because
Okay.
like the path is only so wide. It's
So there's 3 of them and there's 2 of us.
That's right. So let's try to get those at least 2 to jump to their deaths, and then the other one maybe we can take out.
all right.
I'm with it.
So
I'm taking out my weapon.
people are taking out their
Same,
weapons.
and probably step between the casters and the kiddies, but staying closer to the casters.
All
Or
right.
mystics, I should say.
So if you're gonna try to get the jump on
MO.
them, I'm gonna say everybody has to try to do a discreet test. Otherwise, we'll just go into standard initiative order before anything happens.
Is there a
Jomilo?
modifier on that?
No I would say no modifier just because they're distracted.
My discreet is 5, so
Let's just give it a
That's
shot. We got nothing to lose. We'll just go into initiative if we lose it.
oof.
Yep.
Jamila doesn't have any
Done
ranged
and done.
weapons.
Okay.
I don't either. So
I do. Can I give it to somebody? Because I do have some range. I have.
Yeah, if you got something you want to give it to a different character, that's
I love
Alright.
the discreet ogres. We're so discreet.
Yeah,
Here,
and
discreet.
both of us are just melee. Yeah.
I'm pulling out my bow and arrows and like handing it over and saying, "Timber, here. I think you can
I'm not
use
sure.
this."
Yeah, maybe. Usually I just hit things really hard with the sword. Most of my stuff is like melee focus, but
My discreet is a 5, and I succeeded.
I'm impressed.
yeah, all of
Wow.
us that succeed, the 3 of us rolled a 2 all
That's
3 of
funny.
us. That's kind of
Oh,
wild.
wow.
That's
Amazing.
crazy.
I don't think I would take the bow and arrow, honestly, because I don't like, she just that's not her so
Not good.
but
Yeah.
I'll have my
Okay. I'll.
sword, so but Jamilo, I don't know if you use
Jamilo,
bow
I
and
could try it.
I'll try it. Here.
or fetch. So
I'll give it to Fetch. Fetch. Here.
Thank
What's
you. You give it a go.
that's accurate, right? Or is it quick?
Should be accurate.
I have a 9.
Oh, mine's an 11.
Oh, nice.
My accurate.
Okay. Hey, Chagrinius, good to see ya. Okay, so we will start things off, and it will be Gnosis.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, so I guess I'm going to try to bend the thing's will. And so that's a resolute test.
Resolute. Okay, it is. You get a +1.
Okay.
Nice.
Let me get my character back to my character sheet. So resolute +1. Let's do this. Oh, it's going down.
Okay, so you've got the will of the Katka, one of them, under your control. Sounds like your directive is going to be to try to have it throw it off the cliffside there.
I'm gonna do what we always do, which is make it jump off the cliff.
this is our thing. Some
This
people
is
set
our
things
thing.
on fire. Some people send things off cliffs.
That's what we do. This is what we do. Hopefully, hopefully there's a cliff nearby in the future at all times.
Yeah. Let's see. Fetch.
I'm gonna try to take a shot at one of them with this unfamiliar bow.
Sounds good. A
And then just
+1.
real quick, Alex, do I have to roll for temporary? Do I have to do the temporary?
Yes, thank you. Yes, a D4.
A D4. Okay, let me get that going here. Oh, geez. Okay, 4.
Oof.
Hoopity hoo. At least it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
It's all for you guys. It's all for you.
All right. So Fetch, you were shooting with your arrow.
Yeah, gonna fire the borrowed bow.
+1.
How do I go about this without the actual? Do I just do an accurate test with a +1?
Yeah. So what?
Finding and equipping the weapon.
If you go to your character sheet and just click on accurate, it'll bring up a dialogue, and then it'll ask for a modifier. You can just click +1.
Cool. I suspect that's a miss.
That one's gonna miss.
Cool.
That'll bring us to temper.
All right. Well, I want to go after the one that Fetch was shooting at, the one that isn't jumping off the cliff. And I'll just try to hit it with my sword.
Okay. +1.
Okay.
And okay, so damage is 4. You hit it, but it seems like your blade doesn't quite. You just kind of knock it back.
Okay. Wow. I didn't get much on that one. Oh well.
That will bring us to Elin.
All right. So that one that Timber just hit, which I now imagine is quite mad at her, I'm going to try to tell to go jump off a cliff. So let's go.
+1.
Is that also +1?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
We got to come up with like a catchphrase for when we make him jump off a cliff.
Yes.
Oh, I have to remember to add in. You get a robust, like extra D4 with 1 melee attack each turn, and I didn't add it in on that one. So
Is
I'll
that
have to
for
remember that.
damage?
Yeah.
Oh, roll that
I-
because then basically its
Oh, yeah,
defense was its defense was 4, so it absorbed your damage. But if you have a D4, you'll,
Okay.
that whatever that is would be the damage it takes.
I don't know how to roll that. Okay, is it? Nope. I have to type that in probably, huh? Just is that /roll or something like that?
I
Yeah,
think it's /roll.
R space.
Does that? Yeah. Oh, look, I did it.
Nice.
All right,
All right,
4 points damage.
Sorry, Elin. I didn't mean to do
And
that.
4
mid-
corruption.
No,
huh?
it's okay. I just had to roll my for corruption. Yeah. So did her damage that she did? It didn't like kill the guy or anything.
No,
Right?
no.
Okay. That's fine. Then I'll still have him be, the
All right. So on the Katka's turn, 2 of them are making their way to the cliff. So as long as you guys maintain your concentration on that for the next turn, they're probably going over. The one that is not under the influence of magics is, I imagine, going to leap up probably and try to attack Temper. So Temper, do a defense test -3. So
That's weird because that one
protection 8.
automatically puts it in. Yeah. Which
Section
is nice.
8. That absorbs the first claw. It's going to do a second attack on you. So same thing. -3 on a
Okay.
defense test. And on that one, you'll take 3 points of damage.
All right. I was down 1 from last time. Did I get that back from sleeping, or did we not? I don't know how healing works.
You wouldn't have recovered anything from the overnight.
Okay. All right.
So that'll bring us to... so we got one Katka that is uninjured that's fighting Temper. The other 2 Katkas are moving towards the cliffside, and then it's Jomilo's turn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna flank the one that's going after Temper.
Okay, so I'm going to say you can move up on 1 round, and then you could use your
okay.
movement round on a second round to get into flanking. I've
Okay,
reread the rules, and now I'm realizing, oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to go.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll use my action then to move.
And you can get into melee with it.
Oh, at the same time? Oh, okay.
You can get into melee, you just can't do... You can't also get into flanking right away. It'll take 2
Okay.
moves to get into the perfect position, basically.
Got it. And modifier?
+1.
Oh no.
Wow.
That one will miss. And bring us to the top. And it is back to Papa Gnosis' turn. So just do a resolute +1. If you pass this, it's going over.
All right, let's make it happen. Oh, baby. It's cliff time.
So Cat just kind of goes, phew. And you imagine, who knows? Maybe a snow cat will be fine and it'll land on its feet somewhere thousands of feet down, but probably not. Yeah, so I'm gonna say that's. I don't think that's like your action to concentrate on that. I think you just once you've got
Oh,
the
so
spell
could I?
effect active, you just have to do that as a free action.
So could I take a shot with my crossbow at the other?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's do this. Is there a modifier?
+1.
+1.
They're big. Big target. And oh my gosh, you're so good with the crossbow. You bypass its armor.
Damn.
Yeah, so
Wow.
right in the neck, it's bleeding quite profusely.
Damn. I'm good with that thing.
That'll bring us to
Don't even have to
fetch.
strangle it.
Strangle the cat.
I don't think I've got time to switch weapons or anything, so I'll take another crack with the bow. Was it +1?
+1.
Sure.
Oh, a hit.
And then what's the
1d8.
damage on the bow? 1d8? Okay. Nope, that didn't do anything.
It's
I think it's
just
the other
R,
way,
I
the
think.
slash.
Yeah.
And I think the syntax is /R space 1d8.
What am I doing wrong?
Think like that,
/R.
but without the little dot.
Oh, I hit a dot. That's why. Apologies.
There we
Ooh.
go.
All right.
Wow,
go.
you guys are rolling high.
Another missile strikes into the Kotka in the neck. It's howling about, but this is a pretty tough beast, so it is still on its feet. It's still attacking. But it is Temper's turn.
I don't want it to attack. So I'm going to go into a murderous frenzy. I'm going to do the free action berserker. And I'm going to try to hit it with my sword. So is that
+1.
my +1? Okay. I always forget which like plus or minus type of thing. All right, robust. And then 1d6. I'm just typing everything in. Oh, sure. And then I fail. Even when I type everything in. Ugh, that's not good.
So you go to swing. It's like a great sword or a big sword that
No,
you're using, isn't
it's
it? Or
just it's a 1d8 sword. So I feel like if the crossbow's 1d10, I feel like it's just a normal sword.
you swing it
Right?
down, and it just kind of it scoots out of the way. You just hit the ground, and it kind of gets to your side. Elin, it is your turn.
All right.
And you
All right.
succeed, so the other cat goes over the side, and there's just the one Kotka left to deal with.
All right. And then I could still. I have a well, I'm not actually holding a dagger, so I guess I will get out my dagger and hold it so that I've got something in case it jumps at me or something.
Okay. That sounds good. That'll bring us to the Kotka's turns. So, yeah, I think it's going to just continue attacking Temper, so defense -3.
All right. Trying to figure this out. I have to use defense 5, so I can't have it roll quick, but I don't know how to change that. You know what I mean? Like if I hit my armor button, I can't change what it's using to roll. Can I? Is there a way to? Nope. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm making sense, but because I was a berserker, the way that the armor is set up, it uses quick as the attribute, defend using quick, but I don't
Sure.
want to defend using quick, and I can't see a way to change that because I have to change that number. So I really don't know.
Can you put a modifier on to negate it or no? Probably
I'm
not,
just
no,
gonna
it's good.
roll cunning because that's where I have a 5. So at
Okay.
least I can see. And then I'll just hit the light armor to see how much it'll
How
with
much
the
it'll soak up? Yeah.
protection. Yeah. Oh. So I failed, but this says the protection's 5.
Okay. So you'll take 2 points of damage,
All right.
and then
I'm
it's
sure
gonna.
there's an
How are you
easier way to
looking?
do that. I'm looking bad because
Man,
I have 9 and my threshold's 8. So
yeah, we need to
um
get you out of there or take
yeah.
this thing out.
It's gonna take a second attack on you.
Okay. I'm gonna
Aye.
try the same thing and just roll the cunning. So this time I succeeded.
Okay.
I don't know if, but with the protection, I'll roll it anyway because I don't really know if that works. So there it is.
Well, if your
But-
defense test succeeded, then it
But I
won't
don't have
hit
to.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it had anything special. So
Jomilo.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try. Now I can go into flanking.
Now
Right?
you can get into flanking. You'll have a +2 bonus on your attack. I think your attack does an extra D4, an extra D6, something like that for the flank.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Is that a +2 on top of the +1 for it being large, or?
Yes, so it'd be a total of +3.
Okay,
So you
so
succeed.
damage 8 then.
Which
I'm sorry. I have to do a D4. Sorry. All right, 7 damage total.
7 damage total. This thing is still up.
Jeez.
Got like what three very nasty wounds. It's leaking a lot of blood. There's just a pool of it soaking into the snow, but still on its feet. Gnosis, dead eye.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. Another shot. Let's go for it. You said it was a +1 modifier.
Yes,
I think I missed.
that one misses. Fetch.
Same thing. Hope for the best. Also
Misses.
man.
Temper.
All right. Well, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time and hope I actually hit it because otherwise, even if I do hit it, it doesn't do a lot of damage to take it down. So I will swing at it with my sword in a murderous frenzy. So 1d6.
Yes, +1.
Okay. Would I be flanking if what's his name is flanking too, Jomilo? Like, are we flanking with each other on this or not?
Should be, right?
We'll say yes. To +2.
So +3 total.
We'll take every bit we can get.
Well, I
+3
don't know
total.
how it works. I just figured if we're like, if he's flanking with me, am I flanking with him? That's what.
That makes sense to me. I just don't know what the rules.
I
Yeah,
know.
in some games that is how it goes. Yes, all melee attackers against a flanked enemy.
Whoa. Okay.
We
So I succeeded.
So you have to roll another D4.
All
The
right.
flank bonus.
Oh yeah, I just have my robust bonus in there, and the berserker bonus. So well, there's another one.
So go ahead and describe to us the murderous killing blow.
Okay, well, I got hit by this thing, so I'm not very happy. And so I want to take the murderer's blow to take the butt of the sword and send the cat flying off the cliff after the other two that already jumped. So that's my murderous blow.
It goes sailing down. Very good. You survived your encounter with the Katkas in the
Jamila's
aftermath.
like, the fur. We could have used the fur.
Well, it's down there. Just go get it.
So there are these
Can
two
I
bodies
straight
that
away
are
use
on
a
the ground here.
Medicus on.
Definitely check out the situation with those bodies. See if we can figure out who they are.
Sorry, Fetch,
If
you
we-
wanted to use Medicus first?
Use the herbal cure as well.
Oh yeah, we gotta get
on temper.
temper healed up, right?
They scratch hard.
It says make a test against cunning to heal 1d4 or 1d6 when using a herbal cure. There we
Looking
go.
good.
And
Oh,
then
good thing you're so cunning.
and then roll a d6.
Two.
A whopping
Well,
2.
Thank you. That's further from my threshold. I have the ability to do something called recovery. So I have to roll. Oh, I thought maybe pressing this button would do it, but it doesn't. I have to roll against resolute to gain 1d4 toughness. So I'm not all that resolute, but I'm going to try it. I'll try it again later.
Lauren, I think I saw you were talking.
Yeah, I've got healings too. Let me do some healing too. All right. So I just have I have to do a resolute test against target's toughness. So I guess
My
see.
current toughness is
I
11.
think- Okay. I guess that's well damn.
This was lay on hands.
Yeah.
So. Oh, okay, I see. You get 1d4 corruption.
Yay. That didn't, okay, hold on.
Oh, no space after the
Oh, there was
slash.
a okay. Thought there, oh, I see it. Yeah, I see. There we go.
Ooh.
Okay. Not great.
What's
Below my
max
threshold.
corruption?
My threshold is 8, and then I get like into real bad, like, explodey shape if I go to 15.
Ooh.
Yeesh.
So I'm
Floaty.
close, close to the threshold.
What are you currently at?
I am currently temporarily at 7.
Ah, okay, yep.
Oh.
What about Papa Gnosis? What's your corruption count?
I'm at 4 right. Well, my permanent is 2. My temporary is 4 right now.
Oh, you're at the threshold almost too.
Yeah, my threshold is 7.
Hopefully we don't have to send too many things over cliffs yet today.
It'd be good if we took a little nappy nap.
Yeah. I know. We need to recover. But first let's figure out who these bodies might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can take a nap. It's the middle of the day, right? No. How long did we travel?
It was like 7 hours.
7
7
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
A good bit, yeah.
I'm so tired.
All right. So what would you like to do?
Yeah, I want to check out these bodies. I want to ruffle through their stuff. I want to see if we can figure out who they are. I want to see if the cats killed them or if they were killed previous. The cats were just scavenging. I want to know it all.
Okay. You want to start with, you wanted to rummage through their stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a vigilant test. Okay, looks
Got
good. So you move forward. You know, the woman looks, even her stuff, everything that's like on her body is like completely like ruined, blood soaked, and everything. But perhaps you decide first to check out the male. Digging through, he's got like a saddlebag, heavy winter clothing. You're ruffling through his stuff, and eventually you come across, he's got a thin leather cylinder that it seems like it was actually sewn into his jacket. Everything else that he has on him is kind of mundane, but you do pick up on this thing that seems like it's concealed, and so you're able to like kind of pull out the stitchings out from that and pull out this cylinder. It's got a message. There's some parchment that's rolled up inside of it, and uncork that. And there is some kind of a letter. And if I was more prepared, I'd have a handout that I could show you. But if my memory serves, the handout is so written in kind of a calligraphy style that you can't even read it. So this is probably just as well. And it says, on orders from the Curia, the prisoner is to be taken to the Temple Wall Cathedral. Do not gaze into the heretic's eyes. Avoid physical contact. Do not speak to her. Non-lethal use of force is authorized. The Queen and her administration have been informed. They will neither stop you, nor will they provide any assistance or support to you. Avoid contact with the fallen knights, Sarvola's renegades, and the general public. In the event of imminent peril, bring the heretic to safety. Trust no one but the brothers and sisters of our order. And that's it.
One could assume that the man and the woman were had charge of the priest of the Earth Mother, and most likely, they don't anymore.
As you're,
Unless this woman is the Earth Mother, is there any way that we can figure that out?
as you're puzzling this all together and maybe reading that out loud, the man coughs. And his eyes open up and he looks straight up at you. And he points at you. And like with his last dying gasp, he just says, "You, the Night Lady, you must find her. Take her to the monastery by Prios. Night falls. Find her." And he seems like let out like one last gasp and cough of blood before he dies.
Okay. So we can assume the woman here is not the Night Lady. If that was my concern.
I love the idea that that's your character's actual reaction. That all happens and he just goes, well, so that's not her then.
I mean, the Strangler. It seems like it.
I'm a changeling, there's something wrong with me.
I'm going to say because you're a strangler and you're looking down at him, you see marks on his neck that is partially the cause of his current condition.
Ooh.
And I'm
Another
going to let everybody
strangler.
know. I want to let everybody know there's a strangler out there, y'all.
Well, yeah, you're the strangler.
Yeah, but there's
Another.
somebody that's like also strangling. It looks like this guy was strangled. And not by me.
Got it.
I've never heard the sentence, because you're a strangler. That's
Probably because you're you're not a strangler. I mean, that would make
Right,
sense.
that's good. That's good. I'm glad. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
things you want to not have heard.
Did hear that, I'd be worried.
Ugh. Do we see any signs of, like, somebody leaving the general area, a struggle, footprints, anything running,
Does anybody have the bushcraft trait or boon?
No.
Otherwise, anybody can make a vigilant test at -5.
Might as well try.
Right. You never know. You might catch sight of something.
Yeah. Let's see, vigilant.
Oof, I definitely didn't catch sight of anything.
Wait, someone got it, right? Elin? Or was that
Yeah.
Elin.
Elin got it?
I got it. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So
Because you're like looking for the Earth Mother, man.
I am. I
You know
am.
Yeah.
I
Look
am.
for, yeah.
So at this point, it seems like you've deduced that these two were killed not by the Kotkas. They were killed by something else. And likely the Kotkas just were picking up a free meal and probably arrived here not that long ago. Seems like, based on the timeline, these guys were probably killed some hours ago. And Elin, you pick up that there are 3 distinct tracks that lead away from this area, like further up the pass.
Okay. So that I will definitely pass along. If it was one little track leading away, I would have definitely not. But seeing as though there are 3, I'm going to say, oh no, she's been captured by someone else. It's probably those damn Templars. We have to go save her. Not the ones you strangled, but other
Yeah, no.
Templars.
Everybody
See, now,
wants her.
the only thing is we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is we've got injured party mates. We're looking pretty rough on our corruption.
Yeah.
Do we have it in us to give chase right now, or should we give chase so we don't lose them? But I think before we engage, we're gonna need to do some kind of resting or something.
Yeah. Is it dark yet?
No.
No. Okay.
No, just realize
I
you're
think
already
that-
down on time. Like, you're already, like, many hours behind what
Behind
your
them.
pursuit is.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe
Maybe we should rest.
we rest up. Yeah. I think maybe.
Well, I'm suggesting resting up may compromise any chance of
Yeah, maybe we-
Any
success.
chance.
Because we're
Oh,
already
wow.
behind.
We're
Yeah.
already- yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like we got to give chase. So I think maybe we, with that note, we quickly rummage through the lady, see if there's any information there. I think you said that it's just destroyed mostly, but give it its due diligence, and then time to follow, give chase.
Yeah.
Were they on foot?
Yeah. It was
Yes.
3 footprints, right?
We got horses.
We do have horses. We're
That's right. Yeah, the horses. Can't forget about
fast. Also, you have my bow and arrow. I should probably get that back.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
I can't-
sorry. You can take that back. Sorry.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, you did really well. I was impressed. I won't be able to make anyone jump over a cliff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This next bit.
All right. So you are pressing on.
Mhm.
All right. So you continue to follow the trail. What is Tux is saying something here? Papa Gnosis has earned the Strangler knowledge skill. Yes. Absolutely. So you're gonna travel maybe for we'll say another 3 hours. You're gonna get to the point where it's gonna start to be like early evening, but you will note that the trail does not go up to the monastery. Obviously, it diverts and starts to head north, and eventually you start to like come down out of the mountains, and it actually takes you back down towards the river. And where the tracks go is it appears to go to a spot where there's a bit of a ford, and it looks like there's like basically like a the water here is shallow enough, and there's a way to like actually bypass the it looks like a little, it's not actually like the main river, right? Like it's not the main river of Veloma, but it's like a little, I don't know what you call it, a little subsection or a tributary. That's the word I was looking for. That stems off of it, and that is what's before you as you get down into the lowlands. And it's starting to get it dark a bit, and like on the other side of the tributary, it looks like a little bit more forested, and there's another mountain on the other side. But it looks like there's a trail that kind of like cuts into like some kind of a valley on the opposite side, and you see what looks like maybe some kind of like a tower or an outpost, like a lookout tower, like way off into the distance. So you get the sense that you're like on the other side of this tributary. There's some kind of like camp maybe over on that direction. It looks like the tracks that you were following, they definitely go in this direction towards that.
Thinking that maybe she wasn't like, like right now she's with friendlies. So I think, this is what Jomilo is saying as they're walking, Oh, I think
Maybe.
You think so?
Unless somebody else wanted her.
There's so many
Everybody seems to
factions
want her.
involved in this right now. I think we should at least make sure.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Oh no. I'm not saying that not to give up, because we need to get her because Jomilo needs his
Well, but
partner.
we need to solve the mystery, right? But what if we solve the mystery by saying it was somebody else convincingly? Do we really need her then?
Oh, well, I would like to get her back, but we don't have to tell the general exactly, the 100% truth. The general doesn't need to know about the Night Witch.
But we want to make sure she's safe, right, Elin?
Absolutely. I don't. Who knows who's over there? I mean, it could be someone who's friendly to us, but it also could be more of those fanatics.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can always say that it was, the 3 people that Papa Gnosis strangled, or 4
Yeah.
people that Papa Gnosis strangled. Those are the ones that
Wait,
caused
what?
the
4?
ruckus. 4,
3.
right?
There was definitely 3. 3, I think, is the number of that. There was only
Plus
3.
the old man.
The old man as well. There was 4.
Oh no, this is us.
Hmm.
I said not to kill the old man.
I wasn't supposed to. Look, the old man's fine. He just went to sleep. I just put him to sleep. I laid him to rest.
He's sleeping?
He's all good.
He's okay.
He's fine.
You sure?
No. I'm not sure.
He was old, like
Yeah, there's a possibility, but I think he's okay.
Okay.
I strangled him very lightly.
Lovingly.
He's strangled. Oh, you guys. It's not good. Okay. That's our backup, though. Those 4, 3, 4 did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you're considering your move here and trying to ascertain whether you need to go forward, make contact with the Earth Mother, or whatever it is that your next move is, I think we're going to end it on this. You hear 5 distinct clicks behind you, and you turn around, and you can see spread out fairly far apart are 5 crossbowmen who are wearing kind of patchwork leathers and some heavy winter clothing. But then on the road, like the little trail that you were following, on the trail behind you is a very unnerving looking man whose bald head scalp seems to recede a bit and show a bit of his skull. He's only got one arm, and he's dragging I believe it is an axe. It's a spiked
This guy
club.
again.
And
I
there's
like
a little bit of
that.
a misty blue aura in his eyes, and just with a raspy voice, he says, "The Firestone! Give it to me!" I think our next session will probably open up with, "Finally, Mal Rogan has caught up with you," because you backtracked into his area in the
tower.
mountains again. Yeah.
The tower, right?
This isn't the same camp, but
okay.
Generally speaking, you're back out, and somebody had spotted you. So, hey, thanks for the raid, Fargrim the Barbarian. We're just wrapping up here our Symbaroum session. Hope you guys had a good game tonight. So yeah, we did it. We got to the end of Act 2. I apologize for bumbling that the timeline there. Obviously, I was thinking of who took them from the mountain pass, and I started describing that instead of. I got my wires crossed.
Oh, a lot of people after this woman, so that is
Yeah,
understandable.
so sorry about that.
It was all good.
Yeah. It's a good mystery.
Yeah, Joe Rogan found us again.
Yeah. I was never really sure when I was going to bring him back around or what, but I felt like I talked about him so much in like the earlier sessions that he had to show up eventually, right? So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I hope you guys had fun. A little bit of more of a mystery kind of sleuthing through. There was no shortage of ways you could tackle it, but it was interesting to see how your session played out versus how mine played out, because I played it before.
Did you strangle people too?
I was just going to say, any stranglings in yours?
We weren't as. I think we were actually kind of on board with what the Templars were saying, so we saw them more as allies in our playthrough, because I guess from my, we could talk more about it after the whole game is over, but I'd played one game of Symbaroum prior to, and so when they started talking about that the church kept her alive for some reason, I got super there has to be some good reason that they're not killing her or whatever. Let's keep these guys I don't know, let's keep them as allies until we know that we don't need them or whatever, because it seems like they're the only ones that are telling us something that nobody else would, right? Something that's not propaganda. So I don't know. And then this was as far as our game goes, we never actually got to the Earth Mother, so this this next part, it'll be just unique to see what you guys end up doing. And I love the dynamics here, because I kind of I remembered when I was reading the adventure a while ago that Elin was an Earth Mother follower, so I was like, ooh, that's kind of a coincidence and also very interesting for this adventure. But then, having a foe worshiper of Prios in the group, and then former Ambrian, yeah, there's just a lot of elements to it that are cool with your playthrough.
Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And the combat, even though it's just like, oh, cats on the road, it was pretty cool too.
Yeah, they're like tough cats. Can you imagine if we had to get all 3 of them?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if there wasn't a cliff right there?
Right?
Right.
We need to bring a portable cliff with this.
We got one thing. But no, now it's bad because we're down to like no magic and
Yeah.
Yeah,
These
Mel
guys are
Rogan.
reasonable. We can
Mel
we
Rogan
can
wants our
reason-
tires.
Wait, were those crossbowmen with Rogan or?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the impression I got.
This is his gang.
It's his
Yeah, it's the
game.
underlings fan out, and then the boss stands in the middle and wheezes at you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Firestone? Come on.
I know.
That's
It's
when
like,
the boss
look, we
battle
can't
begins.
deal with this. The Firestone, like we're so past this guy.
That was 2 adventures ago.
Anymore?
It's like a week ago.
Oh goodness.
God. How are we gonna get out of this? Oh no.
Find out next time.
Yeah.
There was a different combat that I could have put here. There's like in the adventure, it's written in that there's like a troll cave that you bypass, and you have to figure out how to either feed the troll if you've got enough food. You guys wouldn't have or whatever, but troll fight would have been terrible.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd sub this in because it was more related to the previous.
Yeah.
So hey, thanks for the follow, Chuckle Smithy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, so I guess we'll wrap things up here, but we were celebrating our 7-year anniversary, and we were raising some money for the Center for Suicide Awareness. So even though the game is over, if somebody wants to make a donation in support of that, the link is there. You can go and check out their mission and everything that they do with the Hope Line. It's a very good cause, very good support. So, yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I think we were the last game in July. So, if you're just joining us for the first time, you can pop into our Discord server, come hang out with us there, chat about the games that we play, and possibly get in a game yourself. There's a couple of open games I think in our LFG channel right now that you could jump in and join. So. Yeah, any call outs or shout outs or anything that any of you want to put out into the world before we maybe pass a raid on?
Thank you all. This is fun as every other time. Good.
Who do I got here? We'll go see High Shelf Collective. Yeah, they're doing so. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and we'll see you next time.